as the change of season is upon us, we now also have a lot of sunflowers. They are not very tall because of the problems that I mentioned earlier. It's the amount of irrigation water that we have available and the heavily compacted soil. I think with more irrigation this would look a lot nicer. I can zoom in a little bit. So there, where there is a little bit more water available, the things have grown taller. So irrigation is a major factor here. But even the way it is okay, because every piece of biomass counts. And so I am not unhappy. Of course, a successful crop looks quite different, but this is our first attempt, and with the limited water resource that we have available, it's not so shabby. And I think the way this looks, we will get rain soon. There was rain all around us already, not far away. So there is a good chance that soon, also it's not showing up in the forecast, we will get a good shower, and then we can irrigate more, because our pond will also fill. So we need to be a little bit careful how much we take out of the pond. It is at the limit. It is being replenished from below, and also the pump provides the water from the outflow of the water reservoir. And so we are not out of water, but we can't really run the pump 8 hours every night and irrigate this well, because then we would certainly deplete it, because we are sucking more out than we can put back in. And so it is a bit sad that we have plants here that are suffering. But this sun hemp is pretty hardy, and with minimal water it can grow. The moment it has reached a little bit deeper layers, it seems to find water. But then the smaller plants, they can't do that. So you can see there are tall ones and small ones, and the small ones are the ones that are struggling. For example, there are a few tall ones, and they are also a little bit in the shade. And of course, there's always a dribble, and therefore this is now pretty high and reaching the camera already. So it is working, but at a limit. And like I mentioned before, we are making plans to improve our water storage capacity. So once the budget for that is available and the excavator can come, we will dig another pond, target size 300 cubic meters, and the pond over there should also be enlarged. So basically there where the cypress trees are, 2 meters to the right, that is where the pond should begin. And then we should have 200, 300 cubic meters also available here. And now that I'm here, so these cypress trees finally get a proper amount of water, and it does show. For example, this one here is definitely greening up, so they are not dead, they just need a boost, and then they will start again. They are from here, so they are used to this. Here at the top I also can see something that is greener than the rest, and this one is also working on that. See, the top there is green. We are still struggling to keep them upright. This one certainly has become green, but again we are struggling to keep them upright. Angel has tried a few things, but I guess we have to do this again. And I am here because I want to install a water sensor that I have here in my hand. It's a new model, so let me show you. So this one has a solar panel, and if I put it like this or to the side, I miss a place where I can attach it, but then this will recharge and it's not dependent solely on battery power. So I'm going to place this now there where the cypress trees are, and then we have a better eye on this, because the irrigation system over there, this is now automated, so I can control this from afar. What I cannot control, somewhere there are two shut-off valves that bring the water either to the farmyard, to the right or to the left, for this area here. And once the box for this has been finished, this is the fiberglassing that we want to learn, then we can install this. And then we have also two solenoid valves that allow the system to control this from afar, and then things become a lot easier. So next year, when things become more serious with irrigation, we should then be well prepared. So now let me install this, and we'll see what comes next. We were missing the lid for the 3000 liter water tank that we have in the farmyard for irrigation, and finally I got around to fly the drone and see where the wind blew it to. So now I'm flying over the neighbor's land, because I suspect the wind blew it over there, in order to find it. The neighbor's land has not seen any use since the tenant left, so there has been no grazing other than by wildlife, and you see it doesn't look very pretty. But this is how things are in summer, and this has never been looking better than that at this time of year. Ours doesn't look pretty either, so this is just how things are. So I'm trying to orient myself here, and I'm trying to find the lid. It's blue, it's round, it's pretty large, should be easily spottable, but so far I don't see it. So maybe in a moment there is something that I can already see there in the center. So maybe a bit to the left you can also see it. There's something blue. Yeah, so right there in the center, there it is. So now it is just a question of picking it up. For that, of course, we have to enter the neighbor's land through the gate and drive up here, but that's not a big problem. This here is my version of chop and drop. I just used the weed whacker, the one that has a knife and the one that has a string, two different devices, to cut down all the pioneer species in order to let light get to the ground where grass is emerging. And now I turned on the irrigation for an hour. This is 4,500 liters per hour, so that's the amount that I'm throwing out here. And I have noticed that this makes everything grow in combination with the heat that we still have. So one might think this is wasteful, but it's very effective. So the grasses definitely conquer the area, and that worked with a minimal amount of seed. Of course, we still have to take out those stones there from the yurt once we put on the pellet forks, but it doesn't have to be perfect. The important thing is to get it going between the trees, and then the open area will then be conquered from left and right, basically. So this is working. Chop and drop in combination with enough water and heat will certainly change the surface and therefore also the the depth of the soil. It's a gradual process, but I think we can see that this is working here. But of course it does require quite a bit of water, so it's not extremely efficient. And I hope that we can experience a variety of this from next spring on, when we plant the very same paulownia trees but with drip irrigation. Pretty dense. We will take out a few while they grow, and drip irrigation should nurture the trees, and we will neglect the area between the trees until the trees have grown a little bit. So when they are that size, then we can start doing something to the area between the trees. But you will see this when the time comes. So I'm trying to apply the learnings to upcoming projects. We finally did lose our pump that was sitting here in the pond. That pump wasn't made for being operated in a pond. It is supposed to be in a well, in encasing, and for clear water. You can see this is pretty muggy. It's not nice, and now we are trying to gauge the depth of this, and it looks like we just have 70 centimeters of water. And the pump that we got as a replacement cannot be used in this situation. So we need to do something else. It appears that Mr. Cat and the dogs have finally become friends. They are not chasing him. They are sniffing each other, and it looks very peaceful. So apparently he has now figured out, and they have figured out, that he belongs here. So he has figured out how to behave, and the dogs have accepted him, and there is no issue. So the animals need to do what they need to do. There is no much that I can do as a human, because I cannot tell them, and they don't reason. So they are not human childs. They are just animals led by instincts. But they have accepted him, so that makes me very happy. And we actually are thinking at the moment about introducing another dog, but a special one. There is a dog that's called the Ratonero Bodeguero de Andalusia, and that's a dog that hunts rats. And we do have too many rats, and the mastiffs, they are not interested in chasing rats. They are too fast. They look at them and are puzzled. So my idea is to introduce such a dog in the near future, and I'm thinking about how to do this. It will be a puppy, so a very young one, and then we have someone who goes after the rats, because they are a nuisance. They should not be in that quantity around.